What is going on, YouTube and my fellow Let's Stack Metals community members? Today is January 31st. Silver sitting at 85.81, gold at 49.0285, leaving the GSR at 57 pieces of silver per 1 ounce of gold, which is pretty crazy because it was just in the 40s. What's going on, everybody? How have you guys been? Has anybody made any purchases? Can anybody get anything at $85 an ounce? I don't know. I usually am pretty good at finding deals, but we got some unboxing, and we got some. And before we go on, we have two first commenters, one on the video and one on the short. And on the video is at Whedon Roberts WP9QW. He says, my coin dealer pulled all of his common date pre-65 proof and mint sets off of his website, along with any third-party graded Morgans and Peace dollars that were valued below $100. As a collector of over 50 years, I thought I would never see the day when I could not easily find and buy a typical 1964 proof or mint set. And this is only the beginning of seeing no longer available. I can kind of agree with you there. I thought I would never see that as well, but sometimes that's just how the cookie crumbles. Hopefully we'll be able to find them again for pretty cheap, but I think we are seeing a repricing, not some short squeeze, a repricing thing. And our second commenter is at RXTM810, and he said, first, I also love your videos, by the way. Hey, thanks at RXTM810 and Whedon Roberts. I appreciate your guys' support to this channel. Back to the video. Because we are going to talk about how we are now sitting at 85.81 and 49.0285 with gold. And but the Asian trade, if you look over at like the Shanghai trade, which I get it closed before the crash, but it's still sitting around 110, I do believe, and I think gold was like 5,200. I don't know. I'd have to go look. But I am going to throw up where I get my prices for here in the States up on the screen, what it closed out at yesterday. But yeah, so that leaves silver at 57 pieces for 1 ounce of gold. Could this actually be the short squeeze everybody's been talking about? I don't think it is. I don't. We are going to talk a little bit, though, because through the COMEX and the LBMA, this might be a little bit of a squeeze. But for everything else, I mean, everybody needs to remember there is way more paper shares out there than there is actual physical ounces. I mean, if you look at it, it's been like that for years, for decades almost. One could argue this is a coordinated action from both COMEX and the LBMA. One had technical issues. The other one was down for maintenance, if you know what I mean. At the open of the most volatile market in history, they were both down. I mean, people couldn't sell out at the open. They couldn't buy at the dip of $75, $80 whenever it was at its lowest, depending on the trading app that they were on. That's a little sketchy, if you ask me, just a little bit. But this one I did open by accident because I was recording, but it has a receipt, so receipts usually come with dates. Oh, let's make sure I have all my name off of it. My name, my location. I bought this. I'll show you why I bought it in a second. Okay, so update right there. QR code. All right. Put the marker down right there. But that was the total of it, and I bought it on the 26th. So I mean, that's really a good price, even if it is a clean coin. With it being a clean coin, just for the price of it, of the metal content at the time being, it was under spot and well under spot. I mean, it's pretty rubbed right there. And really, the breast feathers are off it pretty good. But it is a pretty coin, and it's silver. It's all that matters.
But no, so you had the LBMA and you had the COMEX, both of them down during this, and that's nobody is talking about that. Let's talk about that, because if you want to talk about that, what we saw was what you saw was actually, that's what I would call the natural movement. And the reason I say that's a natural movement is because it's more like what you're used to seeing, which is silver suppression and manipulation at its finest. That's what that was. When you seen something like that, that was I mean, in 24 hours, 15 trillion was wiped out of the from gold and silver market. I mean, that being half of the US GDP wiped out of the gold and silver market. Silver down 38%, gold down 15% within 24 hours. 15 trillion taken out of the market of them. Who do you think did that? I mean, really put a thought process into it. And who do you think did that? And I mean, here's what they're not telling you. Here's what they're not saying. Bankers are selling silver they don't have. China is paying double-digit premiums to get the real physical metal. That's not a conspiracy. That's happening real time right now in front of you. It's how the silver market has been ran for decades, is the West. Most of the silver trading in the West happens on paper through futures and contracts, derivatives, and promises of delivery. Banks add, banks, like large institutions, sell silver exposures they never intend to deliver. Most of them never ask for silver. They usually settle them in cash. So, I mean, they're going to keep selling it and trying to settle it that way as long as it keeps playing out like that. But it hasn't been the last few months. Oh, man. So, what have you guys been buying? You guys been buying anything good? Oh. We'll check this next one. I mean, I guess it has been working for a while, the way they've been doing it, but it works until pretty much everybody wants their silver, and then when people want their silver, everything kind of crumbles with that. Because in China, they don't play that paper game. In China, they want to stack that physical inventory. While also, I mean, they're willing to pay a quite bigger premium per ounce than the Western spot price to secure it. I mean, if you think about it, I mean, they've been doing it for a while now. They knew something was in the making. This one did not. Did not come with a receipt. All right. Now, what this price gap is actually, what I think it really means is, if silver is as plentiful as they're playing it out to be, and if we have so much of it, and sorry about that, the video cut out whenever I was mid-talk. I want to say we were talking about the price gap of it. But, yeah, no, I mean, if it was as plentiful, I think that's where we left off. If it was as plentiful as they say it was, then the arbitrage would just erase it, the gap. They just get rid of it. The gap would be gone. But what that last package was another 1908 Barber. And if you didn't know, we're collecting Barber dimes for every follower that we're getting. Not Barber dimes, but Barber quarters for every new subscriber that we get. If you guys don't know, one of the people that I really like to watch, and he loves talking about silver and collecting silver, is Thousand Day Radio. He actually, just watching his videos inspired me to kick up and vamp up my channel last year. So, and if you guys have made it this far and you didn't know, we do giveaways. And go read either my bio or my, go watch my other videos on how you can be entered into the gold, silver, platinum, whatever I feel like giving away that day giveaway. But no, the gap isn't that, because the exit, it exists because Physical supply is tight. The exit for that is there is no exit. Inventories are thin. Industrial demand keeps expanding. And physical supply is tight. That is what's causing this. Whenever you have too many paper shares and not enough physical, but people are now starting to take physical, you're going to have a run of the price because you're scrambling to get it from everywhere. And then you want to know something else? China's buying up a lot of our silver. China is buying a lot of silver. Why? Because over there they're selling it for $30, $40 over what we're selling it for. So why not buy it here and sell it there? Or buy it and hold it and store it. Now this was from my coin guy. And we got 10 Merc dimes. Yep. Look at them. Look at them beauts. Oh yes, they're beauty. We'll be putting them in a roll. But for now, maybe we won't. We might just stack them in there. Why not? Instead of putting them in a roll like last year, how we put the dimes and the quarters, we'll just dump them all in here. But we paid $60 for 10, so $6 a piece. Plus the drive there, depending on how you like to look at it. We will be, actually, you know what? We're not keeping this sucker in here. This is a 1908 S. We're just gonna rip it out. We're not keeping it in the holder, and I don't feel like putting another one in there. We are gonna have a treasure box of treasure that we can just play with this year, because we didn't play with any of the 3/9 fine last year, and we didn't play with any of this last year. That's why we have the scissors. We didn't have to try to rip and tear. But no, I mean, when you have the industries that just keep expanding and all that, and low supply, and that's why you always take your physical over your paper promises, like shares or EFTs or ETFs or paper contracts, because papers can just be created endlessly, just more and more and more supply of it, just more. While physical markets, I mean, really you can't. I mean, you really only have as much as you have in supply. You can't just make it out of thin air. You really can't. Now, when you have too many claims existing on very little silver, the old Western paper system becomes pretty fragile. And when physical demands keep pulling metal out of the market and out of that system, eventually that becomes a little bit of a problem. Because you want to know what kind of problem that creates? That bankers and COMEX can't hedge against? No more supply. And then when you have no more supply and people want delivery, your system's going to fail every time. Every single time. And you'll see spray surges like you're seeing now. Now this one, I do believe it does come with a receipt. Yes, let me blank out my name. Okay. Date. Shipped on 1/22 of 26. Price I paid was $3.22. $107 a coin. Let's see these suckers. Oh, man. Here's one of them. Ew. I'm just a fan of the queen. I'm not mad that I got the king in 2025. But I can definitely say more of a fan of the queen. Looks like they're all the same. They're all the same. So this is how we're ending January. What do you guys think? How much do you have for your 2026 stack? This is what I got. Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 14 ounces just right here. And then if you want to add up all the dimes and the quarters, not bad for the start of the month, start of the year. Go back to my previous year, see what we had in our first 2 months. That was pretty nice. But the price from then to now has also doubled, almost tripled. But Let's Stack Metals is out. Peace.